Hi, I'm Cam Bernard, Product Manager for Geocortex Web. In this brief tech tip, I'm going to walk you through the process of taking an application from the Geocortex Viewer for HTML5 and moving it over to Geocortex Web. It's one of the more common questions we get, and I'm delighted to show you how that works. Let's get started.
The place we begin in moving an application from the Geocortex Viewer for HTML5 over to Geocortex Web is to do a survey. We want to make sure that we are using the latest version of Geocortex modern capabilities for workflow, printing, and reporting. So we're going to go through our application, we're going to have a look for those things, and if you aren't already using those, that is absolutely what you begin with. You begin to convert from traditional workflow, print templates, and reports that were part of Geocortex Essentials, and you move them to the modern capabilities. Now keep in mind as you do that you can run these things side by side in version 4 and version 5. So I have one example here. It is a search assets workflow. I'm going to do a search by selection. Go through, it's going to highlight those on the map. I'm going to select them all and I'm going to generate a mailing list report. So that's a 5-series workflow as well as a report. I can download it, I can have a look at it, everything is good. All right, so we're happy with that part. Now, this particular application, I've got a fairly long layer list with structure and hierarchy. So we'll keep that in mind as well. And I also want to briefly just show you an example of one of these tax parcels where if I view the additional details, I've got a particular set of assets and I'm linking through to the buildings. So all that functionality is functionality that we want to be able to easily bring over into Geocortex Web. So the very first thing I'm going to do is come over to Essentials Manager. I'm going to find that search assets workflow example. And I'm going to go find this item ID. All right, we're just going to make a quick copy of that. We'll use this as our example. We'll paste it in there. Step 2, once you've got things up to modern capabilities, is you're going to export your current map as a web map. Now, we've provided this tool as part of the Geocortex Viewer for HTML5. And in fact, as many people have been asking us, are you going to create a migration utility or a tool, or how are we going to do this? The answer is we've been working very diligently on this export web map capability. Now I'm going to give this a title, Geocortex for HTML5 to GXW. We're going to go ahead and we're going to export that item. It's been exported. If I come to my content here in ArcGIS Online and refresh, I will be able to see that I just created. So I've got a web map. Now, amazingly, that brings all kinds of stuff with it. It's going to bring your layer list. It's going to bring the structure. It's going to bring feature detail config and convert that to pop-up config for your web map. It's going to bring any single feature charts that you have on that feature and bring those over. Layer relationships, field configuration, arcade expressions. And in our experience, and as we did our analysis, we realized that is by far the most labor-intensive and costly part of moving an application over. We are continuing to work on this capability, and as more and more is supported in the web map, we'll bring more and more over. Meanwhile, over in Geocortex Web, I'm going to open the WebGIS default template. This is the one that is closest to the standard look and feel of a Geocortex Viewer for HTML5 application. So we'll open that up. I'm going to go down to my map component. I'm going to get rid of my scene. I don't really need that right now. I'm going to select my web map that we just created, and I'm going to go ahead and import it. Now, the moment I do that, once it's loaded, I already have my layer list, for example, which includes things like my sublayers and administrative areas and things like that. Furthermore, as I begin to look at this application, I can do things like add that workflow into my I Want To menu. So let's go ahead and perform that action. We're going to go to workflows. I'm going to go get my handy dandy ID that I stashed away for safekeeping. I'm going to search for that. You can see it's done by someone within our organization. I'm going to save that, and I can actually run that already in my live preview. So here we go. We're going to search by selection. We're going to draw something on the map. We're going to go next. We're going to select all those assets. We're going to generate a mailing report. It's going to go through, do that work, provide us with the link. It's pretty much an identical experience to what we just saw inside GVH. Now, additionally, it's brought over a bunch of other information, such as relationships. So if I click on this tax parcel here, I've got the same fields in the same order. I've got related records. I can drill in and look at the building, for example, exactly the same way I did within GVH. Now from here, it's just a matter of saving my application. And then I can begin to customize the look and feel. Now you're into Geocortex Web, so you can do all kinds of things that you could never do before in GVH, from changing the branding of your application, for example, all the way to changing highlight colors and replumbing in all those modern capabilities that you've already converted over from your Geocortex Viewer for HTML5 application. I realize that is a very quick and, in some ways, simple demo of how this is going to work, but the big ideas are: start by moving your capabilities to modern Geocortex capabilities for reporting, workflow, and printing. Second, give it a try. Go in and do an export of your map out of GVH into ArcGIS Online, and then bring that same map into Geocortex Web. That gets you a huge starting point where you can then graft in those capabilities and very, very quickly get to an almost equivalent application from GVH to Geocortex Web. I hope that was a helpful introduction to the process. We'll talk to you very, very soon.